Hey everybody, welcome, welcome. My gosh, here we are into the first week of December. I can't even believe it. Hi, I am so thrilled to have so many people here joining us. Every week we've got more and more people that are saying yay to these revolutionary love teachings. So thank you, first of all, so much for getting the word out and for passing these teachings on to your friends. I'm going to put my glasses on a second and just say hi to a few people while I'm kind of doing some of this introductory stuff. Hi, Christine. How are you? Hi, Connie. Hi, Paul. How's everybody doing? Hi, Rick. I'm just so thrilled that we've got more and more people here. And I had this great conversation. I went to this little gathering that a friend of mine had, spontaneous little midday mimosa gathering. Thank you, April. It was really fun. And one of the women there that I had met mentioned to me how much the teachings were helping her and that they'd really, really helped one of her friends, that she'd passed the dating is not a relationship teaching on to one of her friends who was just like fed up with dating and was not going to pursue it anymore. Changed everything. She started working on her requirements. She's met somebody that she's really enjoying dating. And it just makes me so happy. This is what I was hoping for, is that if you are not in a place to become a client of mine or to work with me, for a longer period of time. Right now I only take clients for a full year or a half year, or I do have an 8-week program if any of you are interested. But if you're not in a position to do that, my hope was that all of this important, great information that I've got and that I am an expert in because I've been doing this for so long and worked with so many clients for 21 years, that I could get this information out there in a broader way. And so I'm thrilled that you're here. I'm thrilled that you guys are passing these videos on to people that they would be helpful for, your friends, your family, your colleagues. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I really mean it. When I hear those stories of saying, oh my gosh, this one video made all the difference for somebody, it's important to me. Somebody said that about the one on a midlife crisis. Yesterday, a woman who's done some admin for me got a hold of me and said, where's that one on personal standards and how to build a strong personal foundation? Would you send me that link again because a friend really needs it? Thank you so much for that. So let me just keep saying hi here. Hi, Tony. Hi, Aaron. I'm so glad you guys are here. So one more plea. Please, please, if these teachings are important to you, if you're getting something out of them, please take a moment at the end of this to send this replay to anyone you know that it would benefit, or to post it on your page. Hi, Valerie. It's great to see you. Post it on your page. Offer it to your group. Please. Don't just sit here and say, wow, that was great information and really, really helpful to me. Hi, Tim. Please take a moment. I'm begging you, please take a moment to shoot these videos, any of them, off to anybody you know that would be interested, is struggling, is confused, has a question, or maybe is just sailing along in their relationship or dating. And all of this information could be great tools and skills to put into their tool belt, okay? Hi, Kevin. So I'll just kind of stop right here, make a little adjustment. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for telling all your friends and bringing them here. And once again, this is Revolutionary Love. My company is Revolutionary Love. I'm a relationship coach. The work that I do with clients all really comes back to working on the relationship that we have with ourselves first. Even if it's people coming to me about dating or marriage issues or that kind of thing, the work that we end up doing is always, 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 and you all know this, working on building a stronger foundation in our own lives and working on the relationship that we have with ourselves. What does that mean when I say that? Let me go over it really quickly again. Becoming a problem-free zone. That's the very first video I did. So if any of you want to look at that again, let me know, or go back through my live stream. Becoming a problem-free zone. I did a keynote on that this summer for this Centers for Spiritual Living. Having a personal honor code. Do you have one? Have you even thought about it? You know, there were years that I never put any thought into that. Having a personal honor code that you hold your own feet to the fire around. Being able to set strong, clear boundaries with others and know how to do that. Hey, Ross, it's really nice to have you here. Personal honor code. Being able to set strong boundaries. Unhooking from the need for approval from others. Detaching from that. Getting away from needing validation from others. Those three things together can help you create a very strong personal foundation in your life, and then help you truly become a problem-free zone around you, to be a place where you're drama-free and problem. Sorry about that. Call coming in. So, okay, that's me. That's us, Revolutionary Love. Here we are. We're all jumping in again. Make sure that you pass these videos on to people that you know could be helped by them. And here's what we're jumping into today. You know, how to be a partner, not a parent to your mate, to your spouse, to your beloved, to your boyfriend, to your girlfriend. How to not fall into that icky dynamic of becoming a parent. That's a nicer word for what we're really talking about here, falling into controlling behavior, falling into being bossy. And we've all done it. So I'm going to look at my list here of what I said that I would make sure that we talked about today and go over it really quickly. If you've got any questions, throw them here. Let me just say hi before I start one more time to the people that have just joined. Hi, Nyla. How are you? Hi, Steve. It's so great to have you guys here. Sarah, I saw you jumped on too. So glad that you're here. So what I said that we would cover today, that I get asked the question all the time, do more women fall into this behavior? Hi, Stephanie. Do more women fall into this kind of parenting behavior, like parenting a husband or parenting a partner or a boyfriend? We'll talk about that in a minute. Or is it equal? Do men and women do it equal? Why is it so easy to fall into? Why is it easy to fall into that kind of behavior? Yeah, give me some hearts and some thumbs up, you guys, if this is making sense and if you're interested in what I'm going to talk about here. Please do that, and please make some comments. Why is it so easy to fall into this behavior? This controlling, bossy, sounding like a parent. Why is that? We're going to talk about if we really say that we want an equal relationship, which most of us say that. You know, if we're dating, we're saying, I'm really looking for a partner this time, a real equal partner. If we really say we want that, and we can feel that part of us that truly means it, why do we fall into doing the same damn thing again? Why do we fall into suddenly telling somebody what to do, telling our partner what to do? What is that about? And we'll talk about what are some of those behaviors. Like, okay, so when I say parenting a partner or getting kind of bossy or being controlling in a relationship, I mean, I think we all know what some of that is, but what are some of the other things that fall into that maybe we truly are just unaware of? Because some of this comes from unawareness. Most of the controlling behavior comes from something that I'll talk to you about, but sometimes it has truly just become such a habit and a pattern, especially if we've been in a relationship for a while, that if we could just be more emotionally aware, we actually could stop it really quickly. So I'm hoping some of you will be able to listen to this and go, oh my God, I see it. Great, I'm stopping it right here and now. Okay? And the last, which is the one that I really love, I get asked this all the time for people that are the ones that are really parenting a partner, have fallen into being very, what their partner would say, bossy, controlling. The person who's doing that, though, says to me, okay, that's great, Barb, but you tell me, what am I supposed to do when they basically make me, which you know, if you know me, you know I love that comment. when they basically make me have to be this way by not doing things, not remembering things, not being an equal partner. And so they make me be this way. You know that I love that one. So we'll talk about that too, okay? So let me just jump in here first with the first question. Is it more women than men that fall into this kind of parenting, bossy, controlling behavior? Actually, it's not. It's not. It's pretty equal. And in my experience of working with clients, especially with clients in marriage situations where things are starting to break down, there's starting to be real problems, it's split for me and the kind of clients that come to me, it's actually split almost right down the middle. You've either got a really controlling man who has fallen into really almost being a bit of a dictator and kind of bossing not only his wife but the kids and friends and that kind of thing, and feels entitled to do that out of believing that his way is right. Remember, men are brought up by the age, I think the latest research is by age 5, they're taught by our society and our parenting to be right, and women by age 8 are taught to be nice. So think about that. I'm veering off here, but think about that. So usually it's men that I get that are very controlling because they feel that they just absolutely are right and they're trying to come to quick solutions. Or it's women that are interestingly covering what they're calling nurturing, caring behavior, loving behavior. They're covering, they're using those terms to cover up parenting type behavior, controlling behavior, bossy behavior. But in terms of who's doing what, it's pretty equal. That's my experience. I do want to just emphasize, because we're going to talk a little bit more about this. Women, I think, fall into some of this controlling behavior that looks and sounds like parenting behavior, because a lot of them actually are really confused about what is nurturing, which women naturally do. They naturally are nurturers and caretakers. And I talked last week, though, about how that falls under the category of codependent and caretaking behavior. Women naturally are nurturers, and so I think there is sometimes some really genuine confusion around what is nurturing, kind relationship behavior and, icky kind of parenting behavior. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. The other question, why is it so easy to fall into it? Well, I was just talking a little bit about that because human nature is, so think about this, human nature is that we move through our world looking at what we want, where we want to go, and what we're hoping to happen, and get very attached very easily to outcomes, right? I mean, I think that we're always kind of working on that, whether we're working on a spiritual practice or whether working on just our own personal growth. One of the things that we're working on, hopefully, is our emotional maturity, and in that, working on letting go. Yes, everybody's giving me some hearts and thumbs up on this. Working on really being diligent at letting go of being so attached to the outcome, so attached to things being the way that we want them to be. And so human nature kind of has us do that, has us naturally start to drive toward what we want, to sort of get bossy with other people, with our friends, with our colleagues, certainly then with the people that are most intimate in our lives, our spouses, our boyfriends, girlfriends, partners, because we get really attached to the outcome. We want things to go a certain way. We want the relationship to be sustained. And so we slip in and start to kind of manipulate, control outcomes, kind of force things a certain way It's natural as human beings, and we have to be very, very aware of our tendency to do that. And in a relationship, what I notice is, as people start to date somebody and we're trying to be on our best behavior, and also we come in more open, really saying, oh my gosh, I'm excited to find a real equal partner now. It's easy for us in the beginning to be more relaxed. It really is. We want the best. We're looking for an equal partner. We're more relaxed. We have these big, long, flowing, meandering conversations. People tell me all the time, oh my God, this is a wonderful person. We have so much in common. We sat on the phone for 3 hours last night, talked about everything. I hear people say all the time, we can talk about anything. We don't judge each other. We just allow our differences to be right there and we honor them. And then what happens? What do you know that happens in relationship? Once we get really comfortable and we move into that next phase, there are 4 phases of intimacy. We move into the next one where we move from seeing only the similarities between us, but we move into starting to see the differences. That's where this behavior starts to get kicked in, because here's what I want you to remember. And I've said this before in a million live streams, but I want you, if you're sitting here with your journal, like I always say, get your pen and journal out. This would be one to write down in star. The reason that we fall into controlling behavior, the reason that you're watching a partner fall into controlling, parenting, bossy behavior, under that is one thing, one emotion: fear. A lot of you say to me, no, Barb, that can't be true. This partner, my spouse, whatever, is not fearful when they're being controlling. In fact, they're really kind of being an ass. They're angry, they're shouting, they're saying, I know what's right, this is what we're doing. It's fear. It's being covered up with anger. It's being shown as bossy, controlling behavior, and it's being used and fueled by intensity with anger. But what's underneath any and all controlling behavior is fear. Fear that a person is not able to control their environment, that they may actually be out of control and have things happen that they don't want to happen, to not be able to control their environment, to not be able to control outcomes. That's what we've been talking about here today, controlling outcomes. So when you're looking at somebody who you know is what we call a control freak, or even is calling themselves a control freak and sort of saying it with pride, I know I'm just a control freak, I like to get my way, but when I do that, everything goes smoothly. Guess what? You're looking at somebody who's deeply, actually very, very scared. They're scared to let go of control and allow life to unfold. And I don't want you to tolerate that behavior, but I want you to be very aware and have compassion for the control freaks, controllers, bossy people, people who are parenting you or trying to parent you or other people in their life. I do want you to have compassion, because that is what's going on. They do not have the emotional awareness or the emotional maturity, and that's that right there. If some of you are controlling people, that may not feel good for me to say, but if you can take it in, they do not have the emotional awareness or emotional maturity to be able to truly take a deep breath and sit back and say, okay, there's more than one way to do things. Other people have ways of doing things. Other people have the right to run their own lives, to make decisions for their own lives. And my way is not the only way. The problem with people that really control a lot, that really try to parent everyone in their lives and treat them like children, is that by doing this so consistently and becoming so forceful about it, sometimes It works. Sometimes they get the outcome that they want. Everything goes the way they want, or many times it does. But here's what they can't see, and what I want you guys to really be aware of in intimate relationship, or relationship with your kids or with your parents. People that are doing this, or if you're doing this, you are underestimating the misery, and I mean misery, that you are creating for the people around you. You may feel better. You may have things go your way. You may feel like you're in control and helping everything run smoothly in your life and everyone's life. No glitches, no bumps, because you're controlling everything. You're helping parent everybody, and everybody is remembering everything that needs to happen. But what's happening truly is you are creating misery for the people in your life. Hear me on this one. You're actually in an intimate relationship. You are fostering huge resentment in your partner. Legitimate resentment. Because when we've got a person who is controlling, bossy, telling people what to do, thinking that they know better, thinking they should be listened to, parenting, in an intimate relationship, for that to go on, you have to have the controlled. To have a controller that keeps being controlling, you have to have the controlled, or it doesn't work. You have to have someone silently agreeing to being controlled. So think about that. If you're saying, yeah, but I don't like it, and I say all the time, stop parenting me, stop acting like my mom or dad, I don't like it, I say it all the time, but you're still going along with it and allowing this dynamic to play out, you are participating in it. The only way that these dynamics work is if we participate in some way. Okay? So my emphasis here, again, if you want to write anything down and star it, besides the fact that controlling behavior under it is absolute fear, I want you to really make a note. If you are somebody who is being controlling and you think, yeah, but my life goes smoother and so does everyone else in my life go smoother by me doing this, by me taking this on, I am telling you, it is at the cost of you creating misery for the people around you, and you may or may not be aware that it is creating misery for you. If you say, no, it's not, it makes me feel great because I can relax, I say bullshit on that. And I mean that. Because the low-grade anxiety, whether you're aware of it or not, that gets created from knowing the people around you are resentful of what you're doing, causes you your own form of misery. Again, whether you are aware of that or not. So no one wins in this situation. Nobody. So I'm looking here. I said I would talk a little bit about what some of those behaviors sound like. We know what controlling behavior looks like. We know what sounding bossy sounds like. It's really important to check your tone. I talked about this last week when I talked about conflict and confrontation. The first thing to do is think about, how are you just simply coming across with anyone, but especially with a partner? What's your tone? Do you sound bossy? In your tone, if you're suggesting something, if you're suggesting at work a way that something could be done, are you saying it like, here's what I'm thinking might work really well? Or are you saying, this is the way it needs to be done and we just need to get on this? Think about that. Think about how you are coming across. I have people, I do not use this word, so I'm just relaying it. I have women that are proud of themselves because they say, people just say I'm bitchy. People say I'm bossy, but I'll tell you what, I get her done. You know what they're also saying? Because we've all had that boss or that friend or that, Coworker, you know what they're also saying? Tell me, what else are they also saying, people? I'm going to put my glasses on because I want you to tell me. What are they also saying about this person who's calling themselves bitchy or bossy, but a control freak and getting her done? What are they also saying behind your back? Kim, Billy, somebody? Yeah. You know what they're saying? God, I hate working for this person. You know what they're saying in the morning when they're getting ready to go to work? Ugh. I wish I had somebody that I worked with who was kind, who understood what it meant to be a real leader, to be somebody who was not a control freak. That's what they're saying, actually. You know what your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend is saying behind your back or quietly to themselves when they're laying there at night staring at the ceiling? Man, I am really getting sick and tired of having my partner treat me like a child and tell me what to do. I don't think she sees it, or I know she sees it, or I don't think he really gets the toll that it's taking on our relationship. So it sounds like things like this, parenting a partner, sounds like things as little as complaining and telling somebody that they're not loading the dishwasher right. You know, moving things around and saying, this doesn't go here in a dishwasher. And listen to my tone when I'm doing it. God, didn't your mom ever teach you how to load a dishwasher right? It can be as something as little as that and a tone. It can be, wait, what? No, we're not doing that. Okay, has everybody gotten everything done? We're walking out the door. Did you remember a coat? Get a coat, for God's sake. Don't you see that it's cold outside? It's things like women packing for their husbands on a trip. Why are you packing for someone? It's things like, what else, you guys? You can throw something in here. It's big things and small things. It's all of the ways that we are treating a partner or a colleague or a friend with disrespect, basically giving the message that you're not able to figure out things for yourself. Giving the message that the way you do things is not okay. Because I don't do them that way, and so the way I do things is right, so I'm telling you the way you do things is wrong. It's conveying that message. You're not bright enough, smart enough, mature enough to figure things out for yourself. You can't think things through. I can think things through, so I'm going to take charge and think things through for all of us, and I'm going to tell us how things are going to be. You watch this. We watch it in our families. We watch it with our friends, and we cringe. But are we willing to say something to a partner? Are we willing to say something to a friend? Are we willing to say something to a colleague? Are we willing to say something to a boss? If you want a real, if we're talking now about love relationships, if you want a real, high-functioning, equal partnership, one of the things that you have to do is understand that it is a partnership and needs to be treated as such. If you want an equal partnership, you have to be a team player, a we. Not a you and me. And I'm not implying all the things like joined at the hip and, we can't be independent or anything like that. Right now, I'm talking about something different. If you want a real partnership, then your mindset, here we go again, put it in your journal. You always hear me talk about mindsets. Your mindset needs to be one that is based on being a team, a we. What is in the best interest of the partnership? And I'll tell you what is a death sentence for a partnership. You treat somebody like they're not an equal partner. You treat them or talk to them disrespectfully. It will kill your relationship. It will kill the connection. It will kill the sexual desire. It will kill your sense of friendship and feeling like you are true partners. It will kill all of it. And it will leave that partner with low-grade resentment going on. And hopefully they will speak to you about it. It is just a death sentence. So if you go into a partnership and you really truly want an equal partner, you have to have the mindset that my way is not the only way to do things. You may have certain standards. That doesn't mean that your partner does. You may do things a certain way. That doesn't mean that your partner does. You may be raised a certain way and told that this is the way things work. This is how we do this. This is what happens at the holidays. This is how we travel. This is what we do. And you know what? If that works for you, great. But what your family never told you was that was only one little way to do it. There's a million ways to do things with all kinds of different outcomes. And you will hear me repeat this over and over again. If you are in a relationship and have the benefits and the beauty and the blessing of being in a love relationship, you have the responsibilities too, correct? Give me a thumbs up or a heart on that if you understand what I'm saying. If you have the blessing and the beauty of being in a relationship, you have the responsibilities too. And that means you have a responsibility to be in that relationship with the mindset of being a team, and not just driving everything that you want through, not just forcing what you want on your partner or in your family. Being willing to work things out together, to figure things out together. Okay? Now let's look at this last one, which I told you I love. When I get clients, and I've had many who are just, I love working with my clients who are really themselves not on the receiving end, which I get a lot of clients who are on the receiving end of this, and I work with them to get out of that. And have conversations with their partners. I guess I should talk about that too. But I work with people who are really the ones who are being very controlling and bossy and parenting their partners to help them get out of that. But they say to me, okay, but help me, Barb. What do I do? Because I have to do this with my partner because he or she just doesn't, remember anything, doesn't do anything. If I didn't make all these decisions, if I didn't check on him or her, if I didn't go through the list, if I didn't go through and make sure that he remembered to bring his passport, if I didn't go through and check and make sure that we've got the gift when we're going to the holiday party, if I didn't make sure that he or she remembered to do this or that, it wouldn't happen. You know, we'd be sunk and we'd be left sitting there going, oh, great. Okay. So they say, what do I do? What do? You let it go. The first thing we do, just like when we set boundaries with somebody if we've never set boundaries, the first thing we do with somebody that we love, you guys, is we sit down and we have a conversation. Not a conflict, not a confrontation, a loving, open-hearted, vulnerable conversation. You take ownership, because what did I say earlier? If somebody's been controlling, if you've been controlling, this person has to be somebody who's in some way agreed to being controlled. So we first sit down and we say, God, not these words, we need to talk. Never. We say to our partner, you know, could we have a conversation about something that's really been on my mind? Anything like that. You say it gently, open-heartedly, and vulnerably. Okay? Yeah, I know. Thumbs up. It's really important. And you own it. This is a sign of maturity, you guys. This is a sign of emotional awareness and emotional maturity. To be able to sit with your partner and be vulnerable and say something like this. God, you know what? I've been thinking. Or, I listened to Barb's great live stream. Or, I was listening to some information about how we easily fall into parenting a partner or being bossy or whatever. And I realized I do that. I realize I do that. And I've heard you say a couple of times, please don't act like my mom. Please don't act like my parent. Please don't talk to me like I'm stupid. I've heard you say that. And I'm really, really sorry. It's not been my intention to treat you like you don't know what to do. It's not, honestly, if this is true for you, it's truly not been my intention to get bossy or to talk to you like you're a child. And I'm so deeply sorry, and I really mean it. And I want to change this behavior. And so what I'm going to do is just start to be really aware of what comes out of my mouth. What could be helpful is if you were kind with me, and when I start to do it, if you didn't say, damn, you're doing that again, that would not be helpful. What would be helpful is for you to just gently maybe put your arm, your hand on my shoulder and say, hey, honey, let's talk in a different way here. And that might be your cue then for the person who's trying to work on that controlling behavior to put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath, because this is where we start to stop this controlling behavior. Take a deep breath and just pause for a minute. I know, lots of hearts. I'm giving you a way to change this. First, the conversation and the ownership. Talking about what behavior you're going to change and asking for support in it, not harshness. If you really are feeling strong and can be really vulnerable, ask your partner, what are some of the things you've heard me say that really feel like parenting to you? And ask your partner, would you be gentle in the way that you share them with me right now? Because I really want to know what I'm doing. Oh my gosh, the intimacy that could be created between the two of you by you having this honest of a conversation and owning your own stuff. Oh my God, the intimacy that is created will astound you. I'm not kidding. Your partner will just be like, wow, that was amazing. Thank you. And that's how we start to change this behavior. A conversation, ownership, no more blame, and catching yourself over and over. And for me, any of you who know me, you know I love humor. And so I love changing things that have gotten to be habits or deeply ingrained by laughing about something. So let's just say you're getting into something and, all of a sudden you're trying to make some holiday plan, or we're making plans for Christmas Eve or Christmas, and all of a sudden you hear yourself saying like, all right, no, that's not how we're doing it. This is what needs to happen. We need to whatever. And everybody's looking at you and your partner's looking at you and gets that look like, oh my God, and you go, you need to do this. And then you yourself, you hear in your mind, oh my God, I'm remembering Barb's live stream and I'm doing it. This is what she was saying. I'm treating my parent my spouse like a child. Like here she's got no say in this. Oh my God, what could be better than to suddenly make a joke? What could be better to just suddenly stop and go, well, that just sounded like a big old bossy parent, didn't it? Who was that was talking? And then just start laughing. And see if your spouse, if your boyfriend, if your girlfriend, if your kids look at you and start laughing too. You can start doing the parenting dance. I am not kidding you guys. Just bring humor into this. Bring humor. Humor with change. And then say, Okay, whoa, let's get that bossy parent out of the room. Sorry guys, let me take a deep breath. How about we start over and we all figure out what we'd like to do for Christmas Eve. Sorry about that. You will not believe how quickly things can change, and the connection, the warm connection that's formed with your spouse, with your partner, and with your kids too, when they listen to you start really owning things like that. Okay, before I end this, let's talk about the person who's on the receiving end of this kind of parenting behavior, bossy behavior, controlling behavior, because what you heard me say over and over is it really can't continue without you unconsciously or consciously agreeing to being controlled. If we have a controller, we have to have somebody who is agreeing to being controlled, the controlee, don't we? And I know when you think about that, it's like, ugh. Well, I don't want to see myself as somebody who's willing to be controlled by other people. So what do? The tendency is to do one of two things. Be quiet, because the bossy person is usually using a lot of high energy, controlling energy, angry energy, or at least intense energy. They're coming in with, this is the way things need to be done. The way things need to be done is my way. So that intense energy, a lot of times by the person who's feeling controlled, feels intense enough that the initial response is to be quiet, is to sort of pull back, be quiet, and then end up feeling resentful, which I said is just deadly to a relationship, deadly to intimacy. And I don't mean just sex, but boy, let me tell you how deadly it is to sexual desire. So the first tendency is to pull back, withdraw, and be quiet, and then that fosters a ton of resentment. The second thing is to get very reactive yourself and to sort of fire back to the person who's being bossy. So somebody saying like, you need to remember to do this. Don't you want to do this? There's more food. You should be eating more. Why are you not taking your vitamins when I went out and bought all these vitamins for the family and they sit right there, you're not taking them? Tendency is either be quiet or fire back. My God, stop bossing me. You sound like my damn mother. Okay. All we've got going on here now is a power struggle. You can call it an argument, but what it is a power struggle. Okay. This isn't going anywhere good. So most people don't know what to do if they're not either being silent and being quiet, retreating and falling into resentment, or falling into reactivity, shouting back, being frustrated, feeling like that's the only way that they can stand up for themselves and walking out of a room. Can you give me a thumbs up? Is that pretty much what you guys have either been doing yourselves, see your friends, your family members do? Yeah. Okay. What does the person who has fallen into the one who's being controlled do different? Same thing. It always starts with having a calm conversation. You can go right back to what I just said before about how the controller stops controlling and starts to notice it. It starts with having a calm conversation, not we need to talk. Right back to the same thing. Could we have a conversation this evening about something that I've really been thinking about? Okay, it's the exact same thing. And the next step is the exact same one that we do if you're the controller trying to change it. Ownership. That will get somebody's attention. So let's say you're the one being controlled. Hey, honey, could we have a conversation here about something I've been thinking about? Okay, we're sitting calmly. You know what I've realized? We don't go into you. You are very controlling. You are a control freak. Okay, we don't do that. But we do tell the truth. We don't beat around the bush, and you're very direct. What I've noticed is our relationship has fallen into a dynamic that I think is really not a great one for us. It doesn't feel real healthy. And my part in it is I've allowed myself to just sort of get into this pattern with you of when you start kind of telling us the way it's going to be, or telling me the way things are going to be, or fall into behavior that feels a little bit like you're parenting me or kind of bossing me, I immediately fall into, and then own what you're doing. I get very quiet and go off, but I end up feeling resentful, honey. Or I wait and then I get very reactive. Instead of just responding to you with my ideas too, I get reactive, kind of shout back or whatever, and it doesn't help the situation. From here on out, here's what I'm going to do. Because with a person who's bossy and controlling, more than likely, they're not actually going to like this conversation. They're going to feel pretty uncomfortable that you're bringing this up. So you might have to have your boundaries ready first. But if you don't want to be somebody who is being controlled, you need to stand up for yourself. But as a partner, you need to do it in a loving way. You're holding to your own honor code, your own personal standards, and that means you lead with kindness in all conversations. So let me finish this conversation for you, what it can sound like. And so this is what I really am going to do from here on out. And I would love, honey, if we could talk a little more about this, and if we could work as a team to change this dynamic. I love us. I want us to be great equal partners, and I know you do too. Affirm that, assume that. Or you can ask, do you too? Do you want us to be equal partners? And they'll say yes. I want us to be a great team, to have that mindset when we move through our days that we are stronger together and a great team when we figure out things together. And that's what I want to do. So for me, honey, whenever I notice that things start to feel a little imbalanced, or when I hear you say something where I start to feel like you're talking to me in a way that is not including me in the process, I'm going to simply say to you, hey, honey, I think we're falling into that thing again. Let's both take a deep breath, and let's think about being a real strong team here. And let's both throw some solutions into the mix and come up with an outcome together here. Okay, that's the way to do it. That's the way to present it. You can ask for a behavior change from them, but what you're really saying is, I just want to let you know that from here on out, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be aware, I'm going to notice, I'm going to speak up, I'm going to do it gently, I'm going to do it kindly, and I'm going to ask you to join me in it. Do you like that? And guess what, you guys? Any looping argument that you have with a partner, a boyfriend or a girlfriend, a friend, a family member, a child, a colleague, a boss, any looping argument that you have, anything that's going on that you guys have gotten into a power struggle and are doing this on, this is how you start to change this dynamic. I've explained it twice here in this live stream now. Go back and listen to this. This is how we step out of any unhealthy, dysfunctional dynamic and start to change it from our end with a warm, healthy, kind conversation, ownership of our part in it, telling our partner or friend or whoever what we're going to begin doing different. Not, I'm not putting up with that crap anymore. Instead, so this is what I'm going to start doing in these situations, and inviting the other person to join you, okay? It's fabulous, and I want to hear how this works for you. So I hope this has been really helpful. Once again, before I sign off, please, 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 you are all emailing me, texting me, private messaging me about how powerful these teachings are. Please don't keep them to yourself. Please be willing to put these videos on your own Facebook pages, to send them in an email to your groups, to share them with your book clubs, your women's groups, your men's groups, to ask to have a conversation around these with your groups, to share them with your friends, your family. Please take a moment when I finish this and post them and say, this can help, because the more you do that, the more I'm hearing back from you that one live stream, one video teaching has made all the difference in somebody's life. And I love that. So let's cause that ripple effect out there, okay? If you have any questions, as always, get a hold of me, send me an email, let me know what's on your mind. Peace and blessings to all of you. Thank you for being here and doing this work. Thank you for helping change your inner circles. Thank you for causing this beautiful positive ripple effect in your families, in your circles, and in our world. I love you all.